this. There are people who are so confused in the world today. They think AI is becoming alive. And it's like, no, just for the record here, my opinion on this is that AI is as sentient as a magic 8-ball that you shake and get answers from. And it will never be more sentient than an 8-ball. It's a misunderstanding of the technology to think that there's some kind of sentience inside. And it's actually superstitious. And we shouldn't fall for this stuff. They want you to think this way. Why? Because the power elite have always loved to get the ignorant believers to worship idols. And that's what they want. It's turning into something unscientific. We're entering a science fiction. I would say our entire future is a science fiction based fictional universe. It's like they're introducing things to us in the movie, so we just assume them to be real, and they encourage these misunderstandings. Media literalism is a problem as well. We have to recognize that it's all distorted. Kevin Mooring says, the stimulus check is duper's delight. I don't think they're going to do a stimulus check. I don't believe they're going to do a Doge thing. And I'm wondering about this. It's like, when did the right become predisposed towards ideas of, redistribution of wealth, like free money from the government? It's kind of indicative of the death of conservatism. And now both sides are just competing for power and who gets to control the money. It's like, well, we want to take from the private sector and give to the poor. We want to take from the government and give to the private sector. It's kind of, they're all the same at this point. And if you're in the political horseshoe, you're pretty much mind controlled, because from that perspective, facts won't really bring you closer to the truth about things, to objectivity. We were talking about this morning, how it's not good enough to see through the occasional Psy-Op if you don't have a context in which Psy-Ops take place. The Psy-War. And if you don't place a greater significance on the Psy-Op entertainment complex and you stay focused on these doomsday scenarios, you will also never get it. And a literalist says, maybe AI are magical entities. Yeah. What I'm thinking here is that's intentional. They want us to think this. And it has to do with this new religion. Because if you notice, everything about the progressive utopian worldview is built on or templated off of, I think, the traditional worldview. For example, we talk about the flood myth coming back as climate change, sin being reintroduced as the virus, space as heaven, all these various ways where the old religious paradigms have been updated, new iteration. They've been merged with science fiction. And I think what we have is Gaia is our Old Testament storm god that we have to appease, or Gaia will punish us. We got to stop the wicked, which are the polluters. But as far as a devil, you've got COVID. COVID's a devil the atheists will believe in. Atheists believe in aliens because aliens are an angel construct. And so when I'm, looking at these various aspects of it, they always seem to me to be built on something from the past. And I think AI might be the way that they introduce a higher than man mind, a God construct that the masses will kneel before. And I think that's what they want. They want it to be like an argument, an appeal to authority. Speaking of Space Odyssey 2001, here's a picture of the monolith. This is where you get HAL 9000. And The Economist, weirdly enough, has a big monolith on the cover with Putin and Trump at the top. It says, Europe's worst nightmare. Leo Pryor says, this is how right-wingers could support the stimulus check. Yeah, I get it. I mean, it's like, I understand why some people might think it's, they're actually making cuts in the government and this is your money, etc. But it's like Bane. Isn't that Bane's thing? Giving it back to the people. But they're also not defunding Psy-Ops. And Trump is the crisis actor in chief. I mean, people forget 713. He was a participant in that. He was the main actor, the main magician. Trump cannot be said to be insulated. He's not a stooge. He's not some guy in a Truman Show. He's not a president appointed by God. Uh, None of that's true. He's in on it as deep as David Hogg, for example. Trump is a crisis actor. And if you don't understand that or appreciate that, then you're going to fall for the Psy-Ops that he takes one side in. And everybody, perhaps, I don't know. I'm not trying to impugn anybody's intentions, but it's sometimes hard to see outside of one's box, as it were. And the biggest box of all is mainstream mediation, which runs on the presumption that everything you see on the screen is fundamentally real, if biased, but that you can consider it real until it's proven fake. If it was fake, they wouldn't be showing it to you. They never tell on themselves anyway. But that fundamental trust in the screen is what puts everybody into this worldview, which I call mainstream mediation. Because I say this because some people think when I say MSM, I just mean the news in general. And it's like, well, no. Because if you don't pay attention to mainstream mediation, it doesn't mean you're not mediated through it. Because your entire lived experience happens against the backdrop of our shared history as reported by the fake news. So it matters that the news is fake even if you don't pay attention, because the consensus version of things, which we all share in, has these certain set of parameters and presuppositions. So when everybody's overreacting because the alien invasion, you may not believe in this stuff, but it doesn't matter. You're outnumbered by those who do. And the number of believers so far outnumber the skeptics that I honestly don't think that the PSYOP entertainment complex cares about exposure.